Welcome. This is Kim Rippere with Craftisan Studios. I'm on the Canvas Core Brands Creative Crew team for 2016. I was also on the team last year, 2015. And today this video is going to show you how to make a faux leather journal. And here are some samples. There's one. Here's one that's got a different embossing on it, but it's very similar. And here is the one I am going to show you how to make. This is a Canvas Core file folder that we're going to use. And we're going to have three signatures, I'm sorry. And a really cool canvas interior that we're going to make. So I look forward to seeing what everybody makes and everybody's comments. Thank you. In this segment, we are going to prep the paper. So the first thing that you need is glycerin. And then you make a 1:6 ratio with glycerin and water. And I did clean out the spray bottle before I did this. So this is what I have left because I've been doing some tests because I love this technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this recipe card folder and I'm going to use this as the exterior. So this is what we're going to turn into faux leather. And how you do that is you spray this with the glycerin water mixture. And you sort of pat it on. Don't rub it around because then the fibers, you're just trying to get it into the paper. You don't want to really, rub the fibers off or anything like that. Or kind of damage the paper in that way. We want to damage it in our own way by putting a bunch of glycerin into it. Oh, and I'm using this, I think it's an 11 by 13 baking dish because I thought it was a 9 by 11 and there's only 2 people in my house, so I have absolutely no need for this, so it's perfect. So I'm just going to wet it and pat it on basically until I'm happy, and it looks all wet. So there you have that. And then you're going to crumple it. And then pull it apart carefully. There you have that. We've made, the marks. So I'm just going to wet it a little bit, not a lot. You can do this multiple times, as much as you want. It just depends on your paper. So here is the first step done. So the next step is to emboss this. So this is my, this is my Big Shot, and I have a big Cuttlebug embossing folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this carefully into the folder. And, kind of center it and all that good stuff. I'm just going to flip this on top. And I'm going to put this in the sandwich. And I don't know if you can see this, but I do have a little bit of water here. And so I'm just going to grab a towel and clean that up. And then I have some more water here and on my plastic, and I'm just cleaning that up. Okay, so What you'll note, so what you'll see here is pouring the water everywhere. So what we have now is this great texture on here. But I don't really have a way to get it on this side with the Big Shot. So what I'm going to do is sort of a cheater thing. Off camera, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in the folder. I'm going to put a big dictionary on top of it, and then I'm going to stand on it for about 3 minutes. And then what I'm going to do is see how this great texture that we have here? Ooh, it's going to look so good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this to dry, you know, like this, overnight. And then I will be back to show you the next step. In this segment, we are going to make the inside front and back cover of our little book. So here's the front, and it's all dry, and I put it in a book and let it to help it get flat. So what we're going to do now is make the inside here of what goes here that strengthens this. What I'm using is a piece of canvas, core canvas, that I cut to be just slightly larger than the folder. So my plan is to make something like this using these 2 stencils and these 3 glimmer mists. This is Cranberry Zing, and this is Vintage Pink, and the last one is Penny. These are 3 of my favorites. In particular, I like the Cranberry Mist. So what I do is I start with the lightest color, and I'm just going to spray. Shake it up because there's stuff in, you know, there's sparkle. I'm just going to spray. And I'm going to pick it up, press it down over here. Really, I'm just making a random pattern using this stencil or mask. And then I'm going to use the cranberry. I guess we could do a little bit of this one over here. Get a little different pattern going. Yeah. Okay, I love that. It's looking great so far. I'm going to go back and use this leaf again with the cranberry, the darker one. And then just to make everything really random, I'm going to pick up all this that is left. There we go. And my towel. So here's the background that we just made, and then here's the folder, which the folder is a little more vintage, and this is kind of bright. So that's why I'm using this penny. I'm going to kind of spray it from farther away, which will help tone all this down a little bit. Much better. Okay, and then we're going to dry this, and then we'll come back and we'll put it on the cover. So I'll see you soon. This segment is about finishing the outside of the cover. So what we're going to do is work to really highlight the embossing that we've done. And the color that I've chosen to do this with is Distress Ink Peacock Feathers. So this is just a homemade tool, and we're just going to lightly put this you know, all over the embossed, the raised edges. And this really helps that design show through. You can see the big difference between, you know, the side that I just did and the side that's where you haven't done the raised. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And then you need to put something on this that is going to strengthen it and is going to protect it. So I've tried a bunch of different things that I had, like some matte spray that I use when I'm doing quilling. I thought that might be good. And then I had some water-based polyurethane that I thought might be good, but it's glossy. And then I had this clear satin regular fast drying polyurethane. So, and this was the one that I liked the best. So we are just gonna take the lid off this. And just brush it on. And you can do multiple coats, you know, to make it stronger if you want. What I'm going to do is this one good coat, I'm going to let it dry, and then we can move on to the next thing, which is putting that inside cover on. So we're closing in on it. We're getting close to the end. In this segment, we are going to attach the canvas that we made to the inside of the file folder and create the inside. And this is not only decorative, but you need it to strengthen the paper. So what we're going to do is use a whole lot of glue, and I use Aleene's tacky glue. So you know, you want to glue all over one area, so like maybe a quarter or you know, a third to start, and make sure you do the edges. Kind of want to rub this in really well. Like I said, this isn't only about attaching your fabric, it's also about really getting the glue in there and strengthening, helping to strengthen the paper as well. So I want to be a little careful about this because it's kind of I wish I'd cut it like an inch wider. And then you want this to be really flat and well attached. So I'm going to just kind of lightly brayer it. I don't want to get rid of the, you know, the embossing, but I do want to make sure it's well attached. So there you have that. It is well attached. I'm just going to clean this up so it doesn't end up on the front. And then peel this back a little bit to where I can see there's some glue there. Then I know there won't be any areas that are without glue. And again, liberal with the glue, which is completely different than how you use glue and quilling. There you have it. It's all attached. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down and allow this to dry. And I think we only have a couple more segments left. This is the last segment where we are going to put the book together and we're going to embellish the front. So I'm just going to move those embellishments off to the side. What we have is this book that we made, the covers, where we made the inside and we, made the outside. We put the glycerin on it, and then we varnished it, we embossed it, we did a lot of things to it. And then we made these signatures. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to attach these to the cover. So I've started a little bit so that you don't have to watch me do everything. And what I did was I just put marks here on all three where I wanted to sew them. So, and then I cut a hole in them, or I punched a hole in them. And I did that on the two outside ones, but I wanted to show you how I did it on the inside one. So here's my awl, and the marks are here. I don't know if you can see them. I can. I'm just going to turn this direction so that I don't have to, you know, wonder if I'm in the right spot. And you want to push this owl through a little bit farther than you think is reasonable. It always takes more space than I think it should. And then what we're going to do, this is just a little piece of foam so that I can use the owl on this, is we're going to set this in the middle where we want it, and then we're going to punch through these. And then to get the holes for the other ones, what we're going to do is move this over just a little tiny bit and punch right next to it. Maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe. It doesn't even have to be that far, but you want it to be a little bit away from the other holes so that the holes don't you know, become one. So, and then that was to the left, and now we're just going to do this one, the same thing to the right. Okay, I don't know if you can see those holes, but yeah, I think you can. And then you can see them on the outside as well. So what I've done is, Canvas Core has some jute, and what I've done is taken a 12-inch piece of jute and untwisted it and pulled them apart. And then I'm going to use these to sew. You can use lots of things. You can use embroidery floss, you can use dental floss, and cording. You might have, you know, thread, something that you have in your house might do. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by going from the in the middle, on a middle hole, go from the outside to the inside, and then you know, just push it through, line it up and push it through here. Okay, and then go up to the top and push it through all of them. Make sure you don't create any new holes. And then go all the way down to the bottom. And right now it's kind of, it can get wonky easy because there's not a lot of support. And so now you just go back through here, and what you want to do is, see how this is coming out on one side? You want, when you push through, for it to come out on the other side. And if it doesn't, you know, you can just switch the sides, easy enough. So now I'm just trying to yank on that a little bit without actually pulling on it. There we go. And you want to make sure that, you know, this is tight without really pulling on anything, and then you're just going to make a square knot. So I'm doing left or right over left, and then we'll do left over right. And then cut these short. So basically, this is the middle one. You're going to do the exact same thing on the, you know, toward the front and toward the back. Here's the front. Come from the outside in the middle. Leave a tail. And then just put it through the hole down here at the bottom. And through the hole at the bottom of the signature. And then put it through the middle hole. Mount on the other side. Again, this is in the middle. That helps keep everything secure. And we're doing leftover. These are all impossible to work with. So we're doing leftover right. And then right over left. Again, cut them short. Okay, just one more. So I'm going to turn on my glue gun so that it'll be hot for the embellishing that I want to do on the front. And now, see how these go together like this? Now we're going to do this in the back. This is a big bookbinding needle, so it's got a really, it's got a fairly big eye, and it's not very pointy. So we start in the outside back, in the middle. Now I'm going to cut a new piece, because once it's rips, it's going to be too short. So I just had this piece next to me, and so I'm using it. I'm not quite sure how long it is, but I'm not sure that it's more than 12 inches, so it doesn't really matter either. Okay, outside to the inside in the middle. That's a new problem I haven't had before. The other piece go. It's probably because that hole is not quite big enough, so I'm just going to make it a little bigger. That hole's kind of small. Let's make sure all these are big enough. Okay, that should work much better. Okay, outside to inside, in the middle. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to leave a tail. Now, since we didn't measure these, the top and the bottom are not identical. So, you know, make sure that you haven't, you know, this is the wrong direction because the holes don't line up right. So that's what I was checking. And I'm just going to finish sewing this. So it's through the top. And then the bottom or the top, whichever one it is at this point. And then the middle. Trying to make sure it comes out on the other side. And then you just want to make sure that it's, again, tight without actually, you know, pulling that hard on anything. Do I tighten this one? Okay. And another square knot. Left over right, right over left. Right over left, pay attention. I'm going to cut these short again. And we are mostly done. So here is the basic book that we made. We did the outside, we made the inside, we made these 3 signatures. Don't know what I did there. Clearly didn't pull it very tight. There you have it. I'm just going to embellish the outside a little bit with these 3 things. This is a piece of ephemera from Canvas Core Brands that I've trimmed it down. I sprayed it with the cranberry, and then I edged it with the Distress Ocean. This is a petaloo flower that it's actually 2 flowers that I glued together. And it's got all like random colors. And this is a little, I'm going to take this with me on vacation. So this is a little camera. So the plan is that it's going to look mostly like that. Thought it was hot. Apparently it's warm, but not hot. And there you have it, our faux leather journal with the canvas inside. I love it. I can't wait to take it on vacation with me. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you post links and let me know what your journal looks like. Thank you so much.